I hate Yone. You hate Yone. Everybody hates Yone. But you know who hates Yone way too much? You guys do. A few days ago I made a very scientific and absolutely not biased at all poll asking you which champion you hate the most, and the majority of you voted for Yone. So I figured there must be a reason why. And I get it. You stomped the lane against the first time Yone in your ranked promos, just for him to all of a sudden get a triple kill and get his full build at 15 minutes, after which he takes over the game and nothing you did mattered. But what if I told you that you can, indeed, abuse Yone? The good ones will be tough nuts to crack, but as usual, with Azir, there's always a way. Let's first talk about the principles of playing against Yone that you should keep in mind before we get into the builds. First off, level 1, you dominate the lane. There's nothing Yone can do. If he tries to stack his tornado, he'll tank so many autos, he might just get himself solo killed before the second wave ever comes. Level 2, he either gets his E to try and engage you, or W if he wants to just farm on the turret. With the latter, just maintain the same tactics and keep poking, since now you have a Q. It will be even easier to punish his CS. If he goes with E, which he probably will, then you have to really watch out for his stacked tornado, because not only does his threat range expand, but he also gains movement speed, meaning he'll use the E a bit early and force you to juke the knocker. Standing super far back when he has both his tornado and his E is advised. After he uses it though, it has a massive 22-second cooldown, which you need to punish. From then on out, just alternate between keeping him farming on the turret and freezing the wave on your side in case your jungler wants to gank. Without the Z, Yone is extremely vulnerable to ganks, so ping your jungler whenever it's on cooldown. After level 6, all you really need to do is react to Yone's ult by ulting him back just before it hits. You get hit by the ult, sure, but then he'll be shoved away. And then we're back to square one, where you have the advantage. Do watch out though. If he has his tornado stacked, he can either knock you up with that and then ult, or keep it for going over your wall. In that case, remember to position your soldiers in a way that allows you to dodge his ult at a moment's notice. Worst case scenario, blowing flash to prevent him from getting a kill is a solid investment, and mid to late game you can just use Zhonya's. Now let's get to the runes and items. First build is more traditional. You take lane dominant runes and poke him out, get an early lead, and hopefully he remains irrelevant for enough time for your team to get a lead past the point of no return. Halo Blades or Electrocute are the keystones to take. Personally, I prefer Halo Blades, but it's mostly a matter of testing it out and seeing what you like best. Then, for the smaller runes, you take Cheap Shot, Ghost Borrow, and Ingenious Hunter. The latter two not only give you value by themselves, like Ingenious reducing the Luden's and Zhonya's cooldown, both of which you will eventually build, but they also synergize with each other. Item Haste does apply to a Vision Trinket, meaning that you'll stack Ghost Borrow faster and have tons of vision to play as aggressive of a lane as you need, without the pressure of having to get kills for eyeball collection. Then, on your secondary tree, take Mana Flow Band and Scorch. The idea is to have some form of early mana to compensate for all that poking you'll be doing, and the Scorch rune goes really well with Cheap Shot, allowing you to double dip on that extra poke damage. So what do you do with these runes? You poke Yone every time he goes for CS, you punish him hard. Of course, respect his stacked tornado, but he won't have it up for like 70% of the time. So that's when the poke machine comes out. Do a few trades like this, and if the Yone was smart and brought Fleet Footwork, you probably have a window to kill him level 4 or 5 with Ignite. By getting an early lead like that, it will make it really hard for Yone to come back into the game, as he's still a squishy melee carry, which means it's risky for him to even get CS. Even if you don't kill him, he won't have enough HP to all in or roam around the map, and that way you can strangle him out of opportunities to impact the game early on. Come mid-game, you build into Luden's Tempest and Shadow Flame, typical burst build, and play as a backline carry. Remember that it's not your job to duel the Yone in a 1v1 at all times. You just have to use your ult to counter his, and focus him when he gets into a teamfight, using your burst damage to take advantage of any CC that your team has. Whenever you have no ult, Zhonya's will serve as your panic button, since using it means not only you'll dodge his ult, but also waste half of Yone's E duration, during which your team can force him to snap back. But say that Yone is really smart, like really giga brain. Fleet Footwork, Second Wind, Revitalize, and just stonewalls the lane. Well then. If you can't win with poke, you beat him at his own game. DPS, extended trades. Conqueror is the rune for that. If continuously harassing Yone will run you out of mana, then at least you can zone him off the wave, and if he doesn't respect your no-go zone, you can run him down with auto attacks as long as you don't get hit by his knockup. For the smaller runes, you always take Presence of Mind and Alacrity, and for this build, Coup de Grace is optimal. Then on your secondary, Mana Flow Band and either Scorch or Transcendence, since that way you'll have enough mana to poke him through his sustain. And if you've watched some of my videos, you probably know where this is going. Time to once again shill Riftmaker, the build that will solve all your problems. It works against Yone, it works against Yasuo, Talon, your Broken Marriage, Irelia, and many, many more champions. Get your own now for the cheap price of only 3,200 gold. Why though? Well, the extra health you get from building that, along with items like Demonic Embrace and Rylai's Crystal Scepter, lets you survive Yone's initial engage, and then the extra 9% true damage will help you in winning a longer fight, especially if you manage to activate it before the fight. Fighting against a Yone with this build while you're both even is good. But getting an early lead with this thing? You can straight up stat check Yone in melee range up until he gets Infinity Edge. But enough shilling for off-meta for fun builds that are way stronger than they should be. Try this out in your games and see if you have any improvement. And if you don't, there's still something else you can do. If you can't beat them, join them. As Abraham Lincoln once said, know your enemy as you know yourself. Hope to see you there, and thank you for watching.